All right. Hey, AP Seminar. Welcome back for the day. Thanks for bearing with me as I walk you through our lessons for these last couple of days in this virtual setting. So flashback to Zoom school. Today, I want to talk through with you guys AP testing logistics. So you got an email last night from our AP testing coordinators and our post-secondary counselors. So if you haven't yet checked that email, has all the information that you'll need about testing, locations, transportation, all of that. After we go over that today, we're going to take a look at two end of course exam Part B examples. If we have time, then I'll have you guys look at the Part A examples as well. But we're going to start with Part B because Part B is 30% of your AP score that you're going to get back from the College Board in July. If you need a reminder of the breakdown, you can look on the back bulletin board in the back of the room. The dark green numbers over on the right-hand side show you the breakdown of all the 6 components that make up your AP seminar score. So we're going to take a look today at a high and a medium scoring example, Part B and Part A if you have time. Yesterday was basically what not to do. Yesterday was a low scoring example, so we can only go up from here. I think it's important that you guys have an understanding of why those are low scoring so that we can then today look at the difference between medium and high. Okay, upcoming deadlines and reminders. I will be back in the classroom tomorrow. Thank you for being patient with me as I have listened to over 100 IMPs, and I'm also spending quite a bit of time in the counseling department, which is where I am right now, as I transition to cover Miss Joyce's maternity leave whenever she has this baby. So upcoming reminders, I will be in class tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day where we are submitting your IRR and your IWA essays. There are no exceptions to this. That is the final deadline for your essays, and we will be submitting them together in class. And then also a reminder, your AP exam, Part A and Part B, is May 4th. And again, check your email. We will go over some of those details today. All right, logistics for your AP exam. This is a reiteration from what was sent out in the email yesterday. So all AP test takers received that email, an email from the College Board regarding AP exam terms and conditions. So you'll need to accept those terms and conditions prior to taking your exams by logging into your College Board account. A good idea would be to do that today, to log into your account and do that because that will also ensure that you can log into your account when we need to tomorrow to submit your essays. Okay. You have another email from the school with the exam date, location, report time, cancellations, what to bring, what not to bring, etc. Okay. So you can check for all of that information. Okay, so you guys will be excused from your classes while you're testing. That will already be taken care of for you. You can see our test is right here, starts at 12:15, and your test will be at Willow Creek. Okay, so driving for morning exams. Ours is an afternoon exam, but if you have other exams that are in the morning, all students are to report to their assigned exam location by 8:15 a.m. For afternoon exams, you should be to report to your assigned exam location by 12:15. You're not going to be admitted after the test has begun. So students will be excused from classes while testing. So in the morning, that's periods 1 through 6. In the afternoon, that's periods 4 through 8. And a detailed schedule of your testing room, exam date, report time can be found in the 2023 AP exam schedule for students. So you should note that you are not excused from exams early for personal, sports, or extracurricular activities. So some afternoon exams can run all the way to 4:30. So check your exam details and let coaches, let bosses, whoever you need to know. Transportation. Students are able to drive or get dropped off or picked up to and from Willow Creek in South Barrington. Testing will take place in Building B. You can park if you're parking in the A or B parking lot. Okay, so if you're using the bus to travel to Willow Creek, bus pickup at Barrington, you're going to load the bus outside door 10, which is by the auditorium. The bus is going to leave at 8:20. For morning exams, and it's going to leave at noon for afternoon exams. So then bus drop off back to BHS. Students will be dropped off in the west lot and should enter the building through door 45. For afternoon exams, if a student needs transportation home from BHS, the activity buses will be running as normal, and those leave BHS at 4:45 and 6:30 p.m. So again, this is a lot of logistics. This year's different because of construction here in our building, which is why we need to do the exams off-site. Check your email, have conversations with parents or guardians to make sure that you know what your exam schedule is and your transportation plan is. Okay. For my class, specific to AP seminar, if you are planning to drop the exam, if you are a senior who has accepted college admission to a college that doesn't accept seminar for credit or any other reason that you're considering dropping the exam, there are some things that I want you to be aware of that may impact your decision to drop the exam or take the exam. So, if you are choosing not to submit work to the College Board, you're going to forfeit that AP seminar score, but you still get your 5-level Barrington High School English credit, okay? It doesn't mean that you lose that credit and are at risk of not graduating, et cetera. You still earn high school AP English credit, whether or not you take the exam. Here are key differences in how you would finish out the rest of this semester and how grades may change if you do choose to drop the exam. So you would lose your deposit of what you've paid for the AP exam. You will turn in your IRR essay, your IWA essay, and your IMP presentation to me for evaluation instead of to the College Board. So semester 2, I haven't been able to offer you feedback because these are components for your AP exam. If those are no longer components for your AP exam, then I grade those as qualitative summatives. So I go back and grade them for quality rather than just completion. They're going to be weighted significantly higher because there are so many rows on these rubrics. So your grade, if you have not completed this work to your highest ability, or if it's not high quality, there's potential that your grade could take a nosedive if I'm then grading it for quality, not completion. The TMP will not go in the Barrington gradebook because I can't reveal those scores to the rest of your team members. That one will stay as completion. Instead of sitting for your AP exam on May 4th, you will take an end of course exam, part A and part B with me for the gradebook. That's like your final summative experience for this class if you're not taking the exam. And then once you decide to drop, you cannot change your mind. So especially because we are so close to AP exams, they would list you as no submission for the exam and it would stay that way. Okay. If you drop the exam, you're still doing the exact same work. You're completing the same products. You're demonstrating the same skills as those who are taking the exam. At this stage, I would recommend just take it. You have already completed 4 of the 6 components for this class, and you will be, even if you drop the exam, you'll still be completing a part A and a part B for the Barrington gradebook. You might as well just go to Willow Creek and take the exam. Okay, if you still wish to cancel, you have to contact Ms. Priola at this email here, our AP testing coordinator, to walk you through your next steps. This is a very busy time for her as we approach AP exams, so you'll want to go see her or email her as soon as possible. Okay, so let's talk about our plan for the day as we go throughout the rest of our week. So I will be back in the classroom tomorrow, Thursday, the 27th. Remember, that's the day where we submit all of your items to your portfolio for the College Board. Friday, we will be doing a practice and of course, exam part A, a 30-minute timed assessment. And then Monday, we'll do a shortened version of a practice part B. We're going to leave Tuesday and Wednesday for any loose ends. You'll be able to review all AP test prep materials that I've had for you over the last couple of weeks, and then you'll take your exam on the 4th. Okay, so let's get into the task for the day today. You've stuck with me. Thank you. Task for the day today, you're going to take out your copy of the end of course exam rubrics from yesterday. So you had that packet from yesterday where we had your part A and part B rubrics, and then you had the low scoring part A and part B examples. So we're going to look at some medium and high scoring part B responses next. you're going to have to determine which is a medium scoring and which is a high scoring. So we're looking at 2 samples. And today the idea is to be able to justify the difference between those 2. So first, you're going to have to be familiar with the 2019 end of course exam, Part B, prompt and sources. So the start of the class, you guys got a couple different materials. You got this packet. This is the 2019 exam. It is exactly what your 2023 exam is going to look like on May 4th. So you can get familiar also with the structure of the materials. We're going to flip past the Part A because we're starting with Part B for today. Okay, so you're going to go to page 5. Page 5 has the Part B prompts. Remember, this is a stimulus pack of 4 materials. So what I want you to do is take 8 minutes. You can see a timer here. You can set a timer for yourself. You can pause this video for 8 minutes. I want you to flip through these titles, the first few lines of these articles, identify the variety in these articles. Some may be research studies, some might be pieces of fiction. So take a look at titles, authors, types of sources. Read over the first few lines because you are trying to identify what was the common theme of this 2019 stimulus pack. Okay, you're going to skim also, for our purposes of today, skim those 4 sources with the theme in mind. Okay, once you feel like you have an idea of what that theme was. Okay, then once you come back and you press play on this video, I will lead you through reading over the Part B examples. So we have 2 examples today that we're reading over. These were written in response to these 4 stimulus materials by students in 2019. Okay, so once we read over the 2 examples, we'll then determine which one is medium and which one is high scoring and why. Okay, so pause this video. You're reading over the 4 articles in the STEM pack. You're doing the tasks in front of you in 1 and 2. And then you'll come back to this video and play. Okay, at this stage, guys, you have read over the stimulus materials from the 2019 exam. Okay, what I'm going to have you do next is take a moment, and now you're going to read both samples for actually, you know what? Start with just the first one, and then we'll go to the next one. So you're going to start with the first example. Okay, so the directions say which is a high scoring response and which is a medium scoring response. I have the student's handwritten response here. Okay, and it goes for 3 pages. Okay, you're going to read those 3 pages, and at the bottom, you're going to answer this question. Is this example high or medium scoring, and why? Justify it. Okay. In order to justify this, use the rubric from yesterday, the Part B rubric, to help you identify of those 4 rows of the rubric, what makes this example a high or a medium scoring example. Okay, so I'm going to give you about 5 minutes or so. I'm going to have you pause the video again. You're reading example 1 and answering the question at the bottom. Okay, when you're finished, come back to this video and we'll debrief example 1. All right, you guys, at this stage, you have read example 1, Part B, example 1. If you listed this as a medium scoring response, then you are correct. So we have 4 rows on our Part B rubric. Let's talk through those rows. So the first one is establishing our argument. The College Board evaluated this as medium. It says the response earned a medium score for this row because the thematic connection is straightforward, and the response relies on the perspectives drawn from the sources to create a simple argument. The argument is recycling and reusing is very important and helpful for our environment. Sort of a broad argument. They do, like it says, connect to the theme. I think you guys, obviously you're on the spot in the moment, but you want to think of something specific and unique to the theme of the packet. Okay. Row 2 also earned a medium. It creates a line of reasoning that focuses on the ways recycling and reusing items creates a cycle that improves our environment. So they have an argument there that they're working their way throughout the 3 pages. Though the claims are somewhat obvious, they are ordered and coherent. That's where we can think about our signal words that we've talked about in class. The first claim is made inductively, but there is still very little commentary. So your College Board evaluator wants to hear your voice. They want to hear your analysis, your commentary throughout. The second claim is borrowed from source B, so it's not original to the author's own thinking, but the response does offer a single line of commentary to link the evidence to the overarching argument, their thesis, which was stated up in row 1's commentary. The third claim about recycling clothing offers specific way modern people can recycle, but the commentary on the evidence is strained. Okay, you do not have to have 3 paragraphs. The organization of your Part B argument is completely up to you, but it needs to be clear and coherent, has a clear line of reasoning. All right, row 3, selection and use of evidence. They earned a medium here, though it features directly quoted evidence from the sources. It doesn't consistently utilize said evidence in an insightful way. For the most part, claims and evidence are well matched, even synthesized at times. We talked about synthesis yesterday when we were looking at the rubric. Synthesis, if you think of a synthesizer in music, we have multiple tones being blended together. Similarly, synthesizing evidence using multiple pieces of evidence together to prove one point. However, the commentary provides a simple analysis of the quotations. In paragraph 4, note the use of source C. The source is forced into the argument as an example. And there's a misreading of the Thoreau source here, but the treatment of the other 2 sources is adequate. So it's inconsistent and it reaches that medium level. Okay, there's one more rubric row here. Rubric row 4, applying our conventions. It generally communicates clearly. There are some stylistic lapses, and occasionally that interrupts the argument, making it hard to follow. For example, and then it goes into an example from the second claim, a part not being well written. Okay, we also see some informal language throughout. So remember, you are speaking to a well-educated, but non-expert audience. So we want to make sure that we are clearly communicating our ideas in an academic way. All right, so the next thing I'm going to have you do is pause this video, take 5 more minutes. We're going back to the packet now. You're going to flip to the second example. Okay, second example, if the last one was medium, process of elimination, you guys, this one is our high scoring example. So I'd like you to read over it. This is your example of what you can be emulating, what you can be mimicking in your own writing. So at the back, last page of the packet, again, even though you know it's high scoring, I want you to identify why. Go back to the rubric, look at those 4 rows and justify why this one is high scoring. Pause this video for 5 minutes and then we'll come back and we'll debrief. All right, you guys, if you're back, that means you have read our high scoring Part B example. So let's go through these rubric rows. Why did it score high compared to the last example, which was medium? All right, so the first row, establishing our argument. Before taking a position, it considers multiple factors: the industrial revolution, transcendental philosophers, our modern materialistic mindsets. They're bringing in a lot of information inspired by the packet, some from their own background. This thoughtful introduction ends by posing, in order to truly achieve prosperity, man must depart from current materialistic attitudes and return to nature in order to find the solutions of tomorrow. It's a well-controlled argument. It relies upon careful reading of the sources in order to get there. Remember, your task is not simply to make an argument of what the common theme of the stimulus materials is. That would be a low scoring response. You are to identify that common theme and propose your own unique argument in light of those stimulus materials. Okay, row 2 earns a high score here because it orders the claims intentionally to build an engaging argument. Think of those words: intentional, build, engaging. Okay. And then it's going to walk you through, if you want to pause and read, some examples of these claims. Finally, the response acknowledges that there are limitations to the proposed return back to nature. So they are acknowledging this opposition, this counter argument, showing a complexity in this author's thought. The response concludes that the plan must balance modern lifestyles and a return to nature in order to achieve the results that positively impact the economy and the environment. So we have multiple lenses also that are being woven in here. Okay, the conclusion is a bit grand, it says, but the response does ask the reader to look at prosperity as more than just economy, to see it as humanity thriving in its environment. So there's a lot of complexity here, but it's well organized. Row 2 is all about your line of reasoning and your organization, being able to walk your audience clearly through the organization and through your thought process, making sure that it always links back to your thesis statement. All right, the last 2 rows here, and we'll start to wrap up for the day. Row 3 is the selection and the use of evidence. So it is saying that this particular response utilized all 4 provided sources. It could have exchanged any of those sources with outside knowledge to the same effect. It's not necessary to use all 4 sources to score a 6 or to score high. You don't have to use all 4, but you do need to use at least 2. And the most essential thing is making sure you're using them deliberately to support your claims and making sure those claims then link back to your thesis. Okay, row 4. It's not without minor flaws. So again, they're not expecting perfection from you. They know you're handwriting this in a timed setting. The response recognizes the sources as being people who are making arguments in a particular time and place. There is some question as to whether Thoreau was speaking about his current day, or if he was offering these observations as reflections. Ultimately, it's a well-written timed response. Okay, so what I would like you guys to do with time that you have remaining, go back to the work-life balance end of course exam that you guys wrote first semester. So that was a long time ago. You're going to have to sift through your Google Drive a little bit to find this document, but you typed this one out. And I'd like you to, or you could even go back to our Schoology page to that submission. You could pull it up that way too. This was the 2018 exam stimulus that we looked at yesterday. So the student example we looked at yesterday was a low score, but I want you to go back to your example or what you submitted for this work-life balance part B. And I want you to consider what is one thing that you did well that you want to repeat when we do a practice part B, and then also when you take your exam, and what's one thing that you want to keep in mind to improve in the future. Okay. And then that is all I have for you guys today. I'm not going to have you move on to the part A, medium and high scoring examples. We'll do that when I'm back with you in the classroom. So thank you for sticking with me. I know it was a lot of information. Pause, go to the materials. It's a little complex when I'm out of the classroom. So good job hanging in there. I will be back in the classroom tomorrow. I also just want to remind you before I end for the day, let me go to our class. And I want to show you a couple resources. So I put this in a Schoology update yesterday, but remember, if you're hoping to prep for your exam even more so than our in-class time together or through these virtual lessons when you have a sub with you in the classroom, all of these materials are made available to you. So you have your end of course exam overview if you need reminders about the 2 tasks. We have this slideshow I think is really helpful for you. It's reminders, tips, strategies for each question of part A and part B. Try to get that out of there. There's a BHS review session video that I recorded last year for students. The passcode is there if you would like to click into that. It was a Zoom session, so you guys can do extra review if you want to. And then we have these AP daily videos, essentially a crash course in how to approach part A and part B. Those are recorded directly from the College Board, from a College Board evaluator. Okay, so those are available to you. And then I will see you tomorrow in the classroom to continue prepping for your exam. All right, have a good day, you guys.